Do you remember second grade? When I was in second grade, I was a good girl. But I was not a good reader, which meant the school was hard. So I told my parents I was bored in school. My dad went down to talk to the teacher the next day. He said, Johanna's an artist. She loves to paint and draw. Last night she said, I wish we could make more art in school. So the next day, Mrs. Noble walks into the classroom. She marches up and down the aisles between the desks. She says, there's someone in this classroom who believes she knows more about educating second graders than I do. And she stood in front of my desk, glared down at me and said, Johanna, how about you teach the class today? Because I was a good girl who did what I was told, I got up out of my seat and made my way to the front of the room. I could hear the kids whispering and snickering. It felt like I was crossing a moat of fire-breathing dragons and the poisonous snakes grabbing at my heart and my lungs, telling me what a fool I was for speaking up. When I got to the front of the room, I stood there in terror and silence. I didn't say a word. I wanted nothing more than to disappear and never be seen again. That was the day I decided it wasn't a good idea to speak up or ask for help. And I did disappear. And I stayed good, quiet, well-behaved for many, many more years. Fast forward a couple of decades, and I had connected to my voice through theater and poetry, but I'm still always the quiet one in the room. So I was in a theater program, and there was a conflict, an internal conflict, and there was facilitators walking us through a repair process. They wanted to burn sage. But there was one woman in the group who was chemically sensitive, so they asked her to sit in the hallway until the sage dissipated. And I thought, that's strange. Here we are doing this process around including all voices, and we're excluding her so we can burn sage. But nobody spoke up, so I figured I was wrong. We started the process, burned the sage dissipated, Sandra came back and joined us circle. And I still had this gnawing feeling. I'm like, God, I had to say something. But here's the thing. In order to speak, you had to get the talking stone, which was way out there in the middle of the circle. It was hard enough for me to raise my hand, much less get out of my seat, make my way across this cavernous moat to pick up the rock and speak. But I remembered something a teacher had told me. He said, when you speak not just for yourself, but for the 340 million people who are behind you who haven't spoken yet. And with that, I decided even if everyone in the room disagreed with me, there were 340 million people behind me who I had to speak for. But got myself out of my seat. I stepped into the moat of fire-breathing dragons and poisonous snakes. And this time, I defied the dragons. I got to the center of the circle. I picked up the rock. I said, it doesn't make sense to me that it was more important for us to burn sage than to have Sandra in the room with us. When I said that, Sandra wept. That was when I got in my bones. Oh, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's because it's never about us. But it is about the moats we cross and the stories of those crossings. And I know we are moat crossers in this room. Collectively, we have crossed a lot of moats. And in order to have the impact we want to have, we got to cross more moats. So when you are standing at the edge of your next moat, and you take that step to face your dragons and pick up your rock and say the thing that you know needs to be said, what will be possible? What will be possible for you, and your audience, for the 340 million people standing behind you who need you to speak? What will be possible?